Down with Odo. But that was open and transparent.
Not questioning what I do. That's the old
Who
saying.
did I say? Not a
Yeah, we're on record, so be careful.
was on record.
Oh, okay. You're the boss.
Yeah, yeah. My wife's not here. All right, we're all official here. Paperwork and everything.
Okay. Roll call. Cam should be here shortly, in about 10 minutes. Bob Hutchison, Jan McGregor Clark,
Here,
Andy Palmer,
Here.
David Podolsky,
Here.
Bob Reynolds.
Here.
Excused are Moses, Perkins, and Valentin. We have Jennifer, Mary, and Joe Pinker from KH Industries. Next, I'd like to have our pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to open the October 18th, 2023 Hamburg, New York IDA Board of Directors meeting at 7:49 a.m.
So moved.
second,
Janet. First item on the agenda are the meeting minutes from September 20th, 2023.
I see no corrections, so moved to approve.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
Thank you, Andy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is the financial report from September 30th, 2023.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, we had administrative fees of $31,482.53. We had our interest, so we ended up with a total income this month of $35,255.33. We had our normal business expenses of payroll. We had really no miscellaneous expenses. We had some supplies we had to buy. So that was a total of $265.59. So with everything going on, and we did do a sponsorship of $1,000 too. I want to put that in there. So our total expenses were $19,989.24. So excess income over expenses was $15,266.09, which brought us to a total in our accounts $980,792.42. Again, we had some discussions. I didn't put this out there about the land and the valuation of the land and stuff like that, but we're going to keep it off to the side right now. So right now we have a $980,000 in there with our land done through the land. Right. But just so everybody kind of sees what we're doing. So, any questions? Did you have a motion?
No, just this any CD that's all in the land corp that a CD is coming up in April. Are we looking to reinvest that? Or are we looking to reinvest these CDs at higher interest rates? Or what's your?
I think we're gonna keep working with the Bank of Buffalo. They really put our money together. We can always go out and look for more interest and stuff like that, what's going on, but right now, Bank of Buffalo.
But we're gonna let it go back into the CD.
I don't see a problem with that, do you, Sean?
I would reserve judgment. It's just so volatile, I'm not gonna say, right now, if it was today, likely, yes, yeah, I mean, they thinking forward, likely, yes, but it may be unfortunately a higher interest rate, which,
Yes, we have.
which is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we'll determine, but that's one good thing that Mary kind of carries it there, that we know. The other one that we have in this demand deposit is more variable, but we get free access to the money.
And that's your Bank of Buffalo?
That's this demand deposit account. So right now that's a little over 5%. So it actually is higher than the CD rate that we locked in at. But
And you have instant liquidity.
and instant liquidity that could go down.
So I need a motion. Any other questions?
Did we get a second?
Second,
I thought I seconded it.
I didn't make a motion.
Oh, you didn't make
Oh,
a motion. I didn't
Randy,
second.
would you like to make a motion?
I do not, I'm good. No, I make a motion to accept the tax report.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet. All in favor?
I,
I will vote for it.
Opposed? Opposed? Okay, carried. On to my report. We're still carrying project closings. Obviously, the two projects are on the agenda today for extensions. Mission Hills did receive an extension. We have some project activity. I've met with some developers regarding current projects. This one at 77 South Buffalo is the former village snow lot near Louis South Towns Counseling. It's now Harmonia Collaborative. I had a meeting with the developer. Again, some financial struggles in terms of making financial sense of the project. Potentially, the IDA could boost the project there, but the developer is also looking at design changes. So, I mean, he's not necessarily right, because if there's design changes in terms of adding units, this is a multi-family project. It would have to go back to the village planning board and receive all those approvals before they would come to us. 3556 Lakeshore, which is the Gateway building, that had I had a meeting. Been speaking with the broker on that property. I have a second meeting with the developer this week. I'm not entirely sure of their plans. I don't think it's a major redevelopment. I think it's more just similar to the last potential purchaser was updating the office and boosting the leasing and the balance sheet there at the Gateway building. But that is looking positive. We're going to go to contract again.
Hey, Sean, I've been thinking about that too. Are they looking at piecemealing off any more properties over there? Do you know from your conversations then?
No, again, I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here. I will say that, that's a 25-acre parcel.
I know.
So there's a lot of,
That's the big parcel, but they had some others around it, right? Besides when we first.
no, I don't, I think there was not contiguous.
Oh,
I think on the other side of Woodlawn,
yeah,
like north of Woodlawn, they own some land there. But contiguous, I think it's about 25 acres, and there could be some.
but that's with the building and everything else that goes up there, right?
That's with the building?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just thinking if they had, when you reach out to them, if they got another piece of property that they're gonna break off, they would break off, that's reasonable for us.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
this
we
they
should
want
take
to
another
sell
look at that,
as a whole.
yeah.
So, because I think, anything, I think they're just trying to dispose of it at this. So I don't think they would want to start subdividing and like make it better for, at least at that point.
Okay,
So. The other item was 290 Lake Street. That was a purchaser who was holding the mortgage has since given it back. So it's back to actually the original owners who had applied for the multifamily project to the IGA, and that project has since expired. So we'll continue to, try to work with them, but that still is a good potential project if we can get it off the ground. We talked about Crossroads. I am still working with Feedmore on potential financing options. I had a call with them this week, and then called looking forward to getting another call going. I don't know if you'd like to get involved with that, Jennifer. It seems where they have like a dollar amount, they're kind of narrowing in on their development plan.
If you need me, I'm available.
Okay, thank you. Other items. Pitch Hamburg, their second cohort is open. We're taking applications. I think we have 4 applicants right now. We can take up to 5. So certainly the more applicants that we get, the better quality of new businesses that we can boost. And so I think we have till the end of the month for that. A lot of those come in at the last minute. But that is open and we're certainly promoting that. And then just monthly look ahead, we just have our next board meeting on November 15th. Any questions or comments? Yes.
The SBA hub zones, I saw the email, can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to, if it's not a designated census tract. So if you don't meet the requirements of a SBA hub zone, which gives you preferred bidding, we had talked about this a few months ago, on federal contracts. So if you're not in a designated census tract, you're not eligible. The governor can essentially make designated census tracts, so ones that aren't financially eligible for HUD, the governor can approve zones. So we were working with Empire State Development to potentially minimally get, Blaisdell and, because you're at least adjacent to a HUD eligible community in Lackawanna. And, you would know, you've been kind of leading the charge on this for a few months. It just did not, we ended up not being a hub zone, and really, unfortunately, there was not, if you looked at the sheet, I'm happy to send it out. There wasn't really any in
Western
New York. Yeah, so in the Hay County region, that were designated hub zones. So we try to, we did a lot of work with the Blaisdell companies to understand their spend, to see if there, if it would make sense to advocate for this, and it did. But unfortunately, we weren't designated.
Is that something we can reapply, basically, I thought I read a letter. Yeah.
So we'll look, we kind of have the legwork in on it, so it's more just.
So do you feel Blaisdell qualifies?
No, it does not qualify unless the governor
This
says.
is one reason why it does, demographically and financially, economically.
Yeah.
Look at the.
It
The
does
data.
qualify.
So you're just above the minimal requirements in terms of average median income. What is it?
So the governor has enough power that they should.
Designate, yeah, I don't know if it's a certain amount, I'm not familiar with the legislation, but they could potentially advocate and make that designated hub.
Okay.
Interesting. And my last question, and again, I don't know if you want to speak to it, but there's an EV station going in Blaisdell. I'll give it with my brothers there, if you want to speak to it or not.
Speak to it,
EV.
Yeah, so right on Lake Avenue here. Yeah.
electric vehicle.
I have a gas, but anyway, so right, actually, I'll see it from the window area, the kitty corner to us, right on Lake Avenue, across from 112, 108 Lake Avenue is a 4 EV charging stations for electric vehicles. So I thought that was it was nothing to do with this body, but definitely a development kind of thing. I don't know, does anybody have any idea about in Hamburg and Blaisdell where there is other EV charging stations?
Not in my house.
Sometimes the hotels have them, but yeah, it's not really, Amazon is pre-wired for significant charging, but.
I just want to just speak to, this is privately financed, so that was encouraging, right? There wasn't somebody just trying to milk off the system, it was somebody that actually invested money in something that
That's cool.
is a new technology.
With a big old buffalo,
With a big old buffalo,
big old buffalo.
see it over there,
I'll have to get you up on hydrogen.
I'm good. I tell that's on mobile only.
I tell you, that's the future. More and more I read.
Did you have a comment, Bob?
No, to say the closest EV station I can think of is at the small boat harbor.
Yeah.
There's in the parking lot for the boat launch.
They're in Tesla.
Are they changing aren't they changing the actual?
Oh, I lie, you know where there's one? Over at the park and ride near Johnson's Landing,
There's one of that, cool.
at the NFTA Park and Ride.
Nice. I was at the Rochester Market the other day, up in Rochester, they have EV stations set up at their market. Now to Rochester, if you've ever been to Rochester Farmer Market, it's an awesome place, but one of the biggest farmer markets around, they have EV set up over there. Good vegetables. Nice cup of coffee. It's a little dry.
I thought this was about the Western New York.
Isn't that Western New York?
You know, the football team.
Oh. All right, on to new business. We have, these are similar, extension resolutions for KH and Stop Precision Machine. I'm gonna go through, a resolution as it's proposed. And then we'll open it up to questions, and discussion by the developers that are here. And then we can, kind of go through this and the board can go, mull it over and modify it as needed. And, and some similar action may be taken with the second item on the agenda, because these companies are, like I said, related. With that, Jonathan Hallis is also here with KH Industries as a guest. And I'll go through the resolution of the Town of Hamburg Industrial Development Agency extending the inducement period and sales tax period for Greenview Properties LLC project until April 17, 2024. Whereas the Town of Hamburg Industrial Development Agency by resolution adopted on October 20th, 2021 approved assistance for the project. And whereas there's been a delay in finishing the project due to supply chain issues outside the control of the lessee. And now therefore be it resolved by the agency as follows. The agency does hereby extend the inducement period and sales tax period for the lessee from October 18, 2023 until April 17, 2024, with the extension fee as per the HIDA fee schedule. A couple of comments, and then I'd like to have the developers present if they choose to. There was some project information in the back. We approved this project as it says in the resolution in 2021. So I just wanted everyone to get up to speed on the scope of the project, the amount of job creation, and the investment associated with it. So those are in the back for your review if you need them. And with that, gentlemen, is there anything that you'd like to talk to in terms of, the individual projects and maybe, as they're related?
Yeah, so we have the KH project and I appreciate everyone's continued support for these projects and extensions. I know this is going to be, I believe, the third time we're asking for extension. In regards to the KH expansion project, that project is finally wrapping up. We have some electrical and heating that still needs to be resolved or finished with installation there. And then the new project. So if anyone had any questions in regards to the extension, we had a number of delays. There's a permit delay with a design work for our bypassing our sewer or redirecting our sewer line from Erie County. And then, as Sean mentioned, there's a number of supply chain issues. Our supplier for our IMP paneling for the roof and the siding was grossly delayed by almost 6 months. And then our GC, simply by time the materials got delivered, it was delivered in the middle of the winter, and that just really delayed stuff. As we know, we had some significant events last year. We're finally in a good position. Like I said, we have a couple of loose ends that need to be wrapped up, but the KH expansion certainly will be done within the next 6-month period. And then the next one that we'll talk about will be the new factory, the new facility that we plan on building there. Because of the issues that we had with the architect team and the general contractors with our expansion project, we ended up changing to another GC and another architect firm, and did some redesign of the facility. We did just get all the approvals from the village, for the redesign building. And currently we plan on breaking ground, I would say probably early Q2 of 2024.
Yes.
So, what's your current employment right now?
So our current employment is roughly around 57. Our commitment was 5.
Right.
We do have, I think it was a total of 6 positions open and posted. We continue to have these postings and openings. We've been, for almost 2 years now, we're struggling to find people. The number of them are both hourly and salary positions that are open, and we continue to go out there and ask people, if you guys know anyone, please send them our way. It's all on our websites. It's just we've been struggling trying to find people.
Machine.
Operation, machining, we need machinists, we need a automation engineer, we need, what else? Mechanical engineer, we have a number of openings. Yeah, and that's just, it's been very difficult for us to find someone.
We actually rented a billboard, but we can't get it until spring. I mean, we've tried everything.
Yeah.
And we just can't get people even come in for the interviews. It's not like they come in, we're making offers, they're not accepting.
I think the billboard on Camp Road next to the Tim Hortons, right? Yeah, right across the street
Yeah.
from Marine Place. So in a couple months, you'll see a big cage stop sign, advertisement up there.
Sean, what's the HCI fee in this? If I forget.
The current, can I look at this, Sandy? So the current fees associated with it would be 1% of the project. So the expansion project would be 29,000, of which they have their sales tax. And they pay 25% of that. The new building expansion, as it was presented, would be 75,000. And since the construction hasn't commenced to that, so they have not done the 25%, done this, the sales tax yet. Requirement, well, I mean, typically a requirement so they can take advantage of the mortgage reporting is that the financial closing is happens simultaneously with the IDA closing. And again, due to the fact that there's been delays in the construction, the permanent financing has been delayed as well. So, there's some factors that they had talked to, there's that factor as a delay as well.
So what's the bottom line that for the K and H project right now, what we're looking at, what's their HCI fee coming in for the extension, do you remember?
For the extension would be
29.
25% of those overall fees by our fee schedule
Right,
as a 6-month extension for every 6 months. As the fee schedule stands, it would be 25%.
You know the dollar amount of that.
Let me,
And while he's looking at, I got a couple of questions. How long was the sewer, the Erie County sewer delay in the?
Well, roughly 4.5 months.
4.5 months.
Yeah, that was quite a bit. The architects had to continually revise their plans and just through the general nature of the beast, it took a while for the Erie County to come back and ultimately approve it.
And this was at the height of COVID or right after COVID?
No, it was right after, it was about a year after.
I work for Army Corps, so I understand how that happened because it's everybody's working remote still and all that stuff, so. The permit process for the village of Hamburg that you just went through the redesign,
Mhm.
how long was that process?
I would say maybe 3 months, 4 months, by the time the architects redesigned, like I said, there's some modifications since we went to a new firm, they had some new ideas that economically made sense for us to do. So we incorporated those ideas into our design. I would say we started this process beginning of summer and we just went through the village approval late August and then 2 more meetings in September. So the planning board and the variance, right?
So you couldn't start the project even if you wanted to without that variance?
Correct.
We can't get materials, like electrical panels are almost a year out.
Yeah, we got a 52-week lead time for electrical panels. So we're potentially making that order this week simply to try to be prepared for when the building is actually erected and constructed that we can outfit it.
So basically you're telling me is that you got financing or whatever your financial situation is on a building that you won't be able to have it and actively use for at least a year?
Correct.
that's the stop.
Probably longer than that.
That's a stop building, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's a 58,000 square foot facility. At the end of stop.
So-
drive.
In reality, what he's saying, not following up on it, that you have to come back for another extension.
We would, yes, we would.
Okay.
With the process, so the redesign that the architects did, was that because of the rising interest rates? That you had to look at the bottom of the investment and had to compensate, because I'm sure you have a budget of what you can afford.
Mhm.
And then, did you notice the interest rates going up and then having to kick it back to the architect saying, hey, we got to tweak some stuff here to get it underneath this?
Absolutely. I think from our original estimate, that we had at the beginning of the year, we probably reduced the overall cost by 40%.
And that was for the increase in interest payments, or is there another reason?
The interest payment and then the materials introduced, right? So it's more of an economical design. It's precast slab design versus IMP and steel framing. So that was a significant cost savings right there. And absolutely, the interest rates had, the primary concern, just simply because they drastically increased it since we started this project almost 2 years ago.
And just to refresh the board, the origination, and I haven't answered your question, the origination of this project was an acquisition of one of the entities of a out-of-state company, correct?
There's 3 operating companies. There's KH Industries, which is first one that I owned. The second one I acquired was Stock Precision Machine, and then about 3 years ago, we bought a company out of Ohio, which we renamed Other Real Manufacturing and moved that production here. So that took us a year and a half to move it out of Ohio, to get it here and try to staff it.
So you moved the business from Ohio to Western New York?
Yes.
Don't hear about that much.
That make you, that make you very happy. Oh my God.
And the answer to your question, the fees, as it stands on the fee schedule, would result in additional fees of $24,885 for both projects.
For both projects.
For both projects.
Well, because the reason I was talking about.
Let's parse out,
Huh?
let's parse out the two and look at it.
Okay, so the expansion project that is the current resolution is $6,135. For a 6-month fee. Yes. This is for Grimsby Properties LLC project.
So I think that's about 18,000.
Right. Yes, correct. $18,750. And again, this would be, ultimately the developers were had requested a year to close both projects, because both will be cooperative with financing, correct?
Yes.
So
That
that
was
was
one of the.
It will really make sense to, really, they can certainly, the board can look to come back in 6 months, but, what they're being transparent and saying is that, they would like to take advantage of mortgage reporting tax, and then these projects will likely close, are likely to close, will close in 12 months from now. What's
KH will certainly close. The
KH will
expansion,
close.
yeah, the Staub one, like we just said, because of the lead time and everything else, that would probably be maybe 18 months.
So they really like to go to October 17th, 2024. On K&H.
No, KH would be.
He said 18 months.
So it'd be 2025.
So you gotta come back to us 3 times if we do it 6 months.
So right now, we're talking about Grimsview Properties, right?
yes,
And that's $6. I mean, the resolution, I don't, as a business owner, I get the extensions, and this body is not here to give a pass for everyone. I think I agree with all that, but I mean, 4.5 months for Erie County Sewer District, and that was probably unforeseen in the planning process. 3 to 4 months for redesign because something they can't control because of interest rate. I mean, I will not be voting for this resolution.
Well, that's, I really understood that.
And I couldn't say it any clearer.
Well, so I'm just trying to get a final.
Jennifer had a question.
Okay, Jen.
When the board approved this project in 2021, the total project cost was 2.9 million. Is that still accurate? I mean, with the cost of everything going up,
Yes.
Does
for
the amount-
KH, yes, for the expansion project. Wow.
just checking.
And will the financing close with this project then, or?
We're still working with our lenders. I mean, there's multiple entities, the LLCs and the operating companies. To the bank, it's all one company, and that's what we're trying to figure out the best way to structure it to get the most favorable finance.
Okay.
So we're most likely going to draw from the Grimsby property in order to build the building. But we don't, because of high interest rates, we don't wanna take a huge loan now and then sit on the cash until they start building next spring. So we're trying to be creative about financing. The builder is helping us through the project too. He's covering some of the costs now, which is really.
Okay. And the 57 jobs you had mentioned, Jonathan, is that full and part-time?
That is full.
Okay,
That's for Cage.
That's for just cage, that's not.
okay.
So to give me further understanding this, just dealing with this, we're dealing with this here, the Grimsey, right?
Right.
What is the hard date that you would want to go to on that Grimsey project? You got April 17th as our extension. Jennifer, we can go farther than that, right?
Yeah, that's our standard 6 months.
Right, but we can go farther than that, right?
Or you could make them come back every 6
Right,
months. to
But
see
I want to understand what the hard date is you're really looking at.
Yeah. It's difficult to answer that with the financing.
Yeah.
Is it,
You know, and so I think April will be a reasonable time frame, but we can't guarantee it.
so if we went to June 17th, 2024,
That would be.
I mean,
give
that
us
puts
some
you,
breathing
I
room.
mean, you can get done
Absolutely.
early,
Right,
right?
correct. I think
Because
that'd
we're
be
doing an
reasonable.
extension here, right?
Mhm, correct.
So,
Can we just make it July 1st?
yeah, July 1st, that's something, you know.
But remember your meeting schedule. I mean, you'd have a meeting the 3rd week in June and then again the 3rd week in July. I always try to set your expiry dates to hit near your meetings.
Yeah, right, I mean, that's what I'm saying, so we went to July 17th, 2024. My suggestion is, you know, we have to cover our internal costs a little bit, maybe we can go to half costs on the extension. When we're giving them a longer extension all the way through, and then we'll cover internally on our salaries and stuff like this, like we have to do. Because that's how we have to cover our costs. So I'll make, this is just me, you guys can amend it even more. I'd like to amend that we go from October 18th, 2023 to July 17th, 2024. And the extension fee will be half the HCI fee schedule for this project. Since they created the 57 jobs, we give them a longer extension, we cover all our internal costs as best as possible. That's a motion. I don't know if I have a second. It's not.
Oh, no, I think that's a reasonable second. Hutchison, I think that's a reasonable.
Anybody wants to have a question? Well, Dave,
Yeah, on the question, why are we charging $3,000, Mr. Chairman? I mean,
we still have internal costs to gotta go through, and we can't just. We just did this with another extension we had last month.
Right.
We went through all this, and I appreciate these guys creating all the jobs and stuff like this, and the same with this other one over here. We can give them a longer extension so they don't have to come back. But you know, you still have to cover our fees. You know,
You get a 6-month extension. Yeah.
because we took a stand as a board that we were gonna start charging fees, if you remember right.
I think I was asking, but
Yeah, you were.
that's probably why I did.
Because even though COVID's over, we understand there's supply chain issues and everything like this, we still have to. We have to cover Sean, we have to cover Mary, we have to cover our legal department that has to put this all together. That's why
I'm gonna call the vote on the amendment.
So the last
I'm
one,
calling the vote on the amendment.
Motion to approve,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, abstained. Resolution is carried. So this is amended resolution for July 17th, 2004, with half the agency extension fee.
Is that- Just a technical point. I think we have to have a majority of the full board.
It has to be the full board. It's,
So I think
it
based on that
fails.
vote, it would not.
Why
It
is that?
fails, it's gotta be the majority of 9.
yeah,
It's a majority of 9, whether there's 9 here, 7 here, 5 here.
Yeah, the majority of the, so all 5 would have to. approve.
And that was just on the motion to amend.
that's right.
Okay,
So going back to the original motion.
So now we'll go back to the original motion. You want to have further discussion?
I don't know what people want to do. I just put an amendment out there that seems reasonable. If you want to, if you don't want to charge an extension fee. You know. Then I don't want to go to the April 17th.
Well, and then Jennifer,
I mean, your board policy is the extension fee. If you're
Yeah.
going to continually not enforce that policy,
That's right,
maybe it's time to look at that policy.
that's right.
I think it'd be worth the discussion of the policy and also the length of the extension. I mean,
Right.
name one project in Western New York that is over $2 million that gets done within a year. Not one.
It used to
Well,
happen, but it doesn't happen.
It does not happen anymore, right?
How many,
Much less a 7.5 million.
how many extensions have you had?
Three.
Three. They already had three.
no, it's two.
It was-
Right.
I have
So That's,
history here.
that's another year.
Jennifer?
It was approved on October 20th of 2021. For 1 year, your original approvals are always for 1 year. And then a year later, or thereabouts, on September 21st, 22, you extended it for 6 months. And then on April 19th of 23, you extended it for 6 months, which brings us to today.
With no charges on it.
Correct, those two extensions were no charge.
No charge.
4.5 months permitting process, 3 to 4 months permitting process. That's almost a year,
But this was induced in 21.
so 2022. Think of when you, I mean, I come from this from a point of actually trying to get stuff done. When you build something and you have to go through planning, you have to acquire the property, you have to go to development, you have to go to pre-permitting, you have to go to zoning, you have to do all this, then you come here, you wait for another entity to make a decision. You're bringing up a business from Ohio. Why are we continuing to do this? We're just shooting
So
ourselves.
we
in the
gave a
foot.
10-year pilot with taxpayer dollars. And understand with a 10-year pilot with taxpayer dollars, they have a break for over 10 years on the assessment of their property. So we're going forward with it. All I'm saying, look, if we gave them 2 years, 2 extensions already, 0 charge. I'm asking half fee to pay for our internal staff out here as a finance guy. That's why I'm looking at this. I think it's fair. We did this at the last meeting, we talked about it. I mean, we just can't, that is our revenue coming in a lot of times, is the extension fees. We've been taking it away
That's true.
for 2 times. And the 3rd time we say, look, if you need another extension, we have to charge it. Right now, we kind of set a standard of a half. And I appreciate the jobs you create, trust me, I really do, but $3,000 to cover our internal costs, I think that's fair. Going forward with a 10-year pilot with a 10-year tax rate.
Does the pilot start from the point of closing? I don't forget.
At
Yes.
closing, we set the pilot start day and we adjust that for when the building would be complete so that they get the full pilot benefits.
So that timeline for the pilot has not started yet.
Correct.
Correct.
But their assessment probably is.
No, I mean, the taxable investment is not, like, with the recently completed project. You know, again, it depends upon when their certificate of occupancy is issued. When it gets to assessing, if it's before or after the walk-in date, so there's like a number of variables.
Right.
But no, I mean, for this project, when did you get your C of O? For example.
And it was probably 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so this will likely, you know, the new assessed value should be on the roll for the upcoming year, right, Mary?
Depends what was there.
Right, we
For
would have
school
to,
taxes,
we'd have to
school
close before March 1st of 24 to hit the school tax for 24, 25, and then the 25 county town.
the assessment would have been based on what was here last March 1st.
Yeah.
For this school tax, this bad school tax, yeah, it could be county tax. Depending on, if the building wasn't complete, there could be a partial assessment on it or whatever, but that's in a full assessment, but put in line as March 1st of 2024.
Yes,
For the
so it would take
24 school, 25 county tax.
Clarifying question, would April 17, 2024 or July 17, 2024 with the $3,000 fee?
I mean, we just did a small project, it was 3 walls and a roof, and it got significantly delayed. This next project is a much larger project,
We're only on.
We're only on
but they all tie together because they're all financed together. That's why I keep tying them together.
Give it our pilots are.
Right, but please remember that the IDA approved mortgage for each entity,
Yeah,
not one big mortgage.
Yes, I understand, but to our lender, it's all the same. That's
They
that's
seem
the
to-
unknown, it's our lender. You know, I can't. We're trying to figure out creative ways to restructure this so that we can afford the next building. The next building is the challenge. This one is behind us, but the next building is going to be a challenge for us financially. It's the biggest project I've ever done.
The building that hasn't been constructed at this point because of delays and so forth.
So July 17, 2024 would best be accommodating to you.
Yes, for us, yes. it would.
you want me to reintroduce my amended motion? I'd like to reintroduce my amended motion. You want me to restate it again, Sean, or you're okay with it?
I'd just like to clarify, the agency would hereby extend the inducement and sales tax period for the lessee until July 17, 2024, with the extension fee as 1/2 of the agency fee schedule.
Correct.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Andy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next item is a resolution of the Town of Hamburg Industrial Development Agency extending the inducement period and sales tax period for Stop 3 LLC project until April 17, 2024. Whereas the Town of Hamburg Industrial Development Agency by resolution adopted on October 20th, 2021, approved financial assistance for this project, and whereas there has been a delay in finishing the project due to supply chain issues outside the control of the lessee, and now therefore be it resolved by the agency as follows. The agency does hereby extend the inducement and sales tax period for the lessee until from October 18, 2023 until April 17, 2024, with the extension fee as per the HIDA fee schedule. So moved. Or do we want to just kind of review this one again?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Gene.
This is a new building.
This is the new building.
And this is not even shovel in the ground yet.
Right.
So let's be honest, April 17th, 2024, shovel is not in the ground.
Yes. and-
Instead of beating a dead horse, which we've got pretty good at, I think we need to extend this out to a realistic closing date.
Yeah, or typically,
And I'm not in favor of waiving any fees or half pricing fees, extend the date, charge the fee, be realistic in the date.
and well, so,
We're wasting their time and our time having them come back every 6 months.
You know, it's not gonna be fair. This is the building that had the redesign issues.
Mhm.
This had a sewer issue as well in this building. That was the other building.
That was an extension.
How many jobs in this building?
This job will be about 38. Yes, 38 jobs.
And how many new jobs are we looking at?
We're committed to 5, we'll have.
I'm getting 5 on this one, so 5 and 5.
Yeah, we had 5 on 5, we met pretty much the 5 on the cage, and for the stop one, as we're gaining new work and the way that we're gonna redesign and consolidate. That one's probably gonna be, what, closer to 10.
Maybe that's going to be our issue is fine.
And like Jan said, when's a realistic date to close the project?
So
Summer
April
2025.
16th is 18 months,
Mhm.
2025. April 16th, 2025 is 18 months. April 15th, 2025 is 24 months. And I say you give them 24 months and be done with it.
That seemed like a reasonable to you guys.
I make a motion to amend this to the dates from October 18th, 2023 to October 15th, 2025.
I second.
That was it was April 15th, 2025?
No, October 15th, 2025.
Okay.
Gives them 24 months
We
from
don't need them
now.
now, every 6 months.
Instead of them coming back every 6 months,
Yeah, and beating our head.
give them a drop dead date.
Okay.
Sean, same question on this one. Are the project costs still okay?
The project costs, the original ones were what, 8.9,
7.5 million.
7.5, we're now at 10.8.
Okay, so then we have to have another public hearing before the board to increase the project amount.
I guess, I'm not prepared for this. If the benefits would amount to greater than $100,000 over what's initially approved, correct?
No,
No? Okay.
you had a public hearing on a project for 7.5 million. If you're going to give increased benefits, then they have to submit another application with the price increase. And then we have another public hearing on those benefits.
You'll be treated as a new project or cannot be treated as a new project?
No, we would just treat it as a project increase.
But would it benefit, I'm sorry to interrupt. guys. Would it benefit this board and them? To say that project got canceled due to rising interest costs, they had to go back to redesign and get a new project?
That would be a decision they have to make. This inducement expires today, so if the board doesn't do something with it, then they would have to submit a whole new application. With a whole new $500 application fee.
It's probably better than a $30,000 extension fee.
Right,
And it's a significant increase in their tax rate too.
correct, I mean, especially on the mortgage tax, if they're going for a higher mortgage amount, that mortgage tax abatement is 0.75%.
Yeah. Become, I can't, I'm in.
Especially since the project's not even in the ground yet.
Right.
Maybe you want to wait on this one
I
to
think-
take a look at your options out there since you've increased the cost of this. Yeah.
Well, I think.
Well, are your fee schedules based upon?
Here's a, and I think, what you're leading to is most efficient, for the developer here, because this project is not in the ground yet, Jennifer, would it make sense to terminate this project
Let it
in
expire.
an upcoming meeting? Should we just recognize that as a board though?
I
and
would
then-
put it in your minute.
And then resubmit the revised project with the sales tax amount, because the sales tax abatement may need to increase as well.
Right.
And then approve the project with an anticipated completion date as they're proposing in.
Correct.
in
You-
April.
If it was an application for the increased project amount, then we could have our public hearing at the November meeting.
Yeah,
Or a few days before, as the board has done in the past, approve the new project at the November meeting for a 2-year period.
Would that have anything on your end as far as permitting on any of this? Are they good to go on their end? It will create on.
no, they would have to come in for, another meeting, but with the increase in amount, you still have to come and request that. So you're gonna have to come in either way.
And you wouldn't have to do it in November. If you allow this current project to expire, you would come in
I just
in
need to
December.
do it before, you're able to commence construction. So, because obviously
But
they need
are
this
you-
inducement. to make
Have
it
you,
happen.
you haven't used any sales tax benefits or anything on this project?
No, we've done
Okay.
that.
You could wait to a point where you're thinking of start and then. come
Right,
Back in and.
which may be a good idea, this project
Taking more
costs
time,
keep
more,
rising.
yeah, more time to complete the project.
Right.
If we could do 2 years,
You could, right, if you know from the get-go, you could induce it for 2 years, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, motion to rescind the.
Do I need to make a motion to rescind or table
We haven't voted on my amendment.
your amended resolution?
I will withdraw my amendment.
Second.
Yes. Second on that, do I need to vote on that?
No.
No,
Okay,
just long as she's got to do this, yeah.
okay.
And then we're going to table this resolution.
Motion to table the stock precision machine
Or do
extension.
you not want to move it and let
we
it
don't
expire?
need to do anything.
Yeah, do we not need?
That's what I'm saying, we don't need this resolution.
The
So
project
do I need a
expires.
motion
Yeah.
to say that withdraw the resolution?
No, Janet's already.
Because he read the resolution now. I'm just trying to stay in line with the camera.
I just need a motion to table.
Motion to table the stock precision machine.
If it tables, does it have to go to the next meeting?
Yes, if it's tabled, it's on your next meeting, but the project inducement expires today.
I just don't want to create confusion, you know, I really don't care, I just, if we don't table it, the project dies anyway,
Right,
because we didn't move on it.
right,
So let's vote against it.
I don't think you have to vote on it.
right, you've noted that you're just going to allow it to expire.
Yes.
Does that sound about right to Robert's rules over here? Janet, do you think?
I mean,
I may.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
I know we
understand where we are last time.
You understand where we are now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate everyone's time and patience. with
And
us.
that, you know, last time, you know, you guys, I appreciate your transparency and they, you know, I've always reached out and they, you know, return calls and answer, you know, as the project is, it's, you know, and, you know, these delays have been, you know, too often, but they really work with us.
so just to clarify. So everybody walks out of here with the same focus. They're going to get in touch. We're going to have this on our next agenda with the updated costs
And you
that are
have,
necessary.
Right, it could be
So,
next agenda or.
Jennifer, if she needs a new application, like,
but now,
we don't wanna be said, we're the ones holding up the process.
Mhm.
We need to,
right,
Yeah, well, I'll follow up with you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
We'll look at what has been previously submitted and just make edits, so.
Right.
Sean, what's the publication deadline now?
You know what? We haven't received notice that it has changed.
Okay,
I don't know if you've used this Hamburg Sun. We could always go to the Buffalo News if need be, and that can expedite. So I would like to get, you know, for your benefit, just get this done, you know, before the end of the year. Certainly give your financing, you know, the bank, you know, further confidence in the project and. You know, so November, December, I would like to target, and then I'll work with you guys to, you know, make it happen, you know, even in November.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
And we'll give it a 2-year
right,
project
we'll just do it 2 years from
from that
the,
date.
because you know that that's what they need.
Great,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, everyone, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the 2024 Hamburg Industrial Development Agency budget. You want to kick it off, Bob?
Yeah. Okay, so again, this has the old budget 2023 that we approved. The 2024 proposed budget. We were supposed to do agency fees of $300,000 last year. We're a little short of that, so we dropped it down to $250,000 this year on agency fees. Our interest, we had 2,800 projected last year, and now we're gonna go to 29,000. Investment income, other income, we were at 2,500, we project about 5,000 in income there, so we come up with $284,000 in projected revenue for the next year, 2024. If you look at the wages and expenses, it's $173,600 or $769.28. That's our payroll, Mary, Sean, healthcare, retirement contributions. Expended expenses on the operating side. So on advertising, we were 3,500, we dropped it down to 200 this year on advertising. We just felt it was better to go down to 200 on advertising. Mileage and businesses is pretty much the same. Cell phone, it's cut in half. Conference seminars, we cut that down a little bit as well. Employee insurance policies, we didn't have that listed last year, which includes workers' comp, unemployment. We put it down as an expense. That's $13,000. Grants, we did 25,000 in grants last year. We put another 25,000 to that fund. IT support and equipment, it stayed the same. Memberships stayed the same. Membership dues stayed the same. Office expenses, we increased that a little bit to $6,800 on office expenses because we now have to pay $4,800 annually in rent. The town of Hamburg is charging us rent for the office right now. Publicity is 2,000 was the same, sponsorship 5,000 is the same, training 5,000 is the same, and website and marketing, we kept it the same. So we had total operating expenses at $82,314. So our total expenses were $256,083.28 projected. Suppose our net income or where our revenue was $284. So that kind of left us with $27,916 of excess income over profit, over expenses for the proposed 24 budget.
I have a question.
Sure.
How much does the town of Hamburg charge the Chamber of Commerce?
Okay, so I've had conversations with the town and so has the chamber in terms of rent. So we had. It was understood in meeting with the town that we would be presented with a lease and charged rent. And the chamber likewise, their rent was higher than the IDA. They do lease, I mean, they occupy more space. We have not been presented with a lease to date, so I'm unsure of the status of that. At the same time, I had this meeting with the town. I did reiterate the Hamburg Development Corporation that the IDA generously funds in terms of human resources, and suggested that we return to an agreement with the HDC that would compensate the IDA for the human resources expressed on that project, and they were agreeable to that. So essentially, the net effect of the rent would be absorbed by the HDC fees. If you would understand that, not that,
So I'm
We should-
sorry, I'm infuriated, and I'm going to say it out loud. The town wants to have control of this board because they approve who sits on it and who doesn't. Everything this board does benefits the taxpayers of the town of Hamburg. We are the town that friendship built. I don't find it very friendly that they want to charge rent to an agency that they have never charged rent to before.
yeah,
Well, they shouldn't be.
past years, yeah. No,
It's
they stopped.
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a money grab.
And it's a $4,800.
I mean, you're welcome to move here for free.
We could have that conversation. Certainly, as I'm a fiduciary, if we can save the agency money, and still
I like
operate the agency as a good, like,
I like it down there.
It's-
have that conversation, but yes, I mean, I do, and I don't know where this is going. Like I said, I had a meeting 2 months ago, but I've had no follow-up since. But they have to at least represent this, because if we are charged, it's going to, you're gonna ask me 8 months from now, what's this variance? So I at least needed to budget for it. Represent it to the board as it may happen.
I mean, we work collaboratively. That's the purpose. We're working for the betterment of our town as a whole and its residents. We want to bring jobs in. We want to create opportunities for the families who live here. This agency does more to promote business in the town of Hamburg than any elected official.
Amen.
So, any more questions?
One other comment, this does not bode well, but I just want to know.
I hope I'm not putting you in a bad spot.
No,
This is my personal opinion and not reflective of this entire board, although those people might silently agree.
I'm not silently agreeing, I'm publicly saying, yeah, I'm on board with you. I don't think we do that much, but I 100% agree that charging rent to an agency that has no other benefit but the great jobs for the town of Hamburg and the people in the town of Hamburg is pretty interesting.
And we also, we must remember that the Hamburg Development Companies encompasses a whole another agency that we all don't have anything to do with. That is, you know, basically business owners helping other business owners, led by Sean, supported by Mary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, no,
Ticks
no.
me off.
Well,
The,
I had the same reaction when Sean brought this to us. Originally,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
We do, as a land development corp, we, you know, we do, as always, like, look to seize opportunities. Towards, you know, reusing properties, you know, office buildings, you know, so certainly, you know, at some point, we could potentially occupy our own space. You know, and certainly, you know, operate those costs, or, you know, would be absorbed with other cooperative rental income. So, you know, that's an avenue and a potential path.
I appreciate that, but I think this is the point. The
Yeah.
point is that you're right here, town hall right there. It's that idea of all working together to the common goal of bettering Hamburg.
Well, you know, it makes sense when somebody comes in to do a project and they're going to building inspection, that you could send, they can maybe come over to the assessment department. Then you could send them across the driveway to the IDA to talk about possible development, you know, savings and so forth, and the programs they get into. You know, you do have that more cohesive. To move out of the building just pulls us out of that, you know, out of that dynamic,
Yeah.
you know?
You know, you think of us as we're all on one big wheel. We're part of that wheel. You take a chunk out of that wheel. The wheel doesn't work the same way. It
No,
starts
it's
to
failing.
break down.
Yeah.
And this just,
Mhm.
sorry, it's just a little maddening.
Yeah, you Sean job.
It's a lot harder than what I want. So, yeah, it's, no, it's. And, you know, put it back to the people that were in the room 10 minutes ago, you know, they're, you know, that's a sole proprietor who's. Got all his eggs in one basket and, you know, and really relying on. State support, town support, village support, you know, of his investment. So,
Yeah, and
he's got,
He's a local guy.
he's
He's a local guy who's built his
excellent
businesses.
investment
and move something from all.
And he stuff from Ohio.
In the board, we went through a lot of conversation, which I thought was good. It was not for waste. Came up with a great idea, Janet. Let's do the 2-year program. Let's go back and refile, do a 2-year program, do something that makes sense. We don't need to have these guys back here every 6 months.
Yeah.
I think we
well,
need to start working.
yeah, I'd like to kind of talk to that, but and I'm
Well,
gonna.
we need to finish the budget. I'll make a motion to adopt the budget as presented,
Second,
begrudgingly.
here. Thank you, that was Andy, right?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Here.
Thank you.
Okay, unfinished business, I would like to, you know, I'll look into, I believe it's our governance committee. We'll probably we should get a meeting going, you know, I appreciate, you know, and really calling it out that, let's take a look at that policy. In terms of any other policy, but, you know, potentially the fee schedule as it relates to that, so please be on the lookout for a meeting. Where we can listen to that a little bit more.
It's a tough area to do that because.
What the ECI guy and
They have the same, however, they will, in terms of extensions, but they will. And there was a lot, you know, we're going through a lot of time with unforeseen circumstances. I mean, look at our budget. You're carrying $2,900 in interest last year. And now it's like up to 34,000. It's like, so some of these conditions are really unforeseen. they allow the developer to say. It's gonna be 2 years. And so they'll say, all right, when are you looking at your completion date? They'll say 2 years from now. Then, once that expires, so they, instead of doing a set year term. They get that to, whatever the developer gives them, and then beyond that. They will look to, then they need to have a sought out extension from the board for, minimally the sales tax and the closing. So, I would, just for a quick discussion, I think I would like to. Talk to some industry experts, if you have other thoughts, I'd like to talk to, some of the commercial bankers that we work with. The constructors, just to really. See, and my cohorts in industrial development to see, what is better, because it is a conundrum, like I appreciate. You gotta play both sides, because you gotta appreciate and be responsible for the tax incentives. But on the other hand, these developments are forced with so many. Environmental or economic constraints now that, it's a difficult thing to navigate.
There may be a 2-year period, and then they come back for an extension after 2 years, then I'd be more inclined to charge them an extension fee.
Which is kind of our unwritten, by
Well,
resolution.
I had a hard time,
this is a new build.
right?
This is, what they did over at Amazon that I call FedEx all the time. That build was unprecedented, the time that they got that done. That was a little kind of amazing how quick they got that built.
And they get punished for it because now they get political pressure that they.
But then you know what I mean, the average, if we get a project where it's an existing building that they're just retrofitting, it's gonna go quicker.
Right.
But an actual new building,
I'll be honest with you, I had a hard time trying to give them any extension fee for the new building. It was a bit less,
well, it's a new fee, it's new application.
right, but and that's where it makes out, but that's.
The application fee is $500, so.
Yeah,
I
But that made sense, going the other route made sense because they have more cost and bigger sales tax and so forth.
But they haven't done it.
I didn't have
Start
quite
that way.
the sympathy, for the extension on the other. I thought give them like half of the fee was
I think
reasonable.
it was great to stop, and I think it worked out. I would like to just have more of a. I don't want to become arbitrary, like I would like our policies to back up the actions of the board. So I do think, based on past projects and conditions, I do think it warrants, having a half-hour meeting to mull that over. And again, like our committee meetings and having our committee meetings, just keep the board meetings more efficient. Again, like keep these people in here, let's get our, house clean and then we're straight and organized, so we can keep it more efficient for the developer. So I think that's a good next step to, just keep us humming along as well as we. Please look out for that, it's very, all those that are about. Motion to adjourn the October 18, 2023 HIVA meeting at 8:56 a.m.
Second.
Go on.
No,
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Palmer, I defer to Mr. Palmer.
Davis, you win.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And we all get pay raises for extra.
Yeah. You're nice.